Hey, good morning, YouTube. My name is Kenny. Thank you for checking out the channel. Today's video, what we're going to be doing is working on some blaster parts and have a little bit of story time. I think it's going to be kind of awesome what we're going to be doing in this video. So stay tuned. If you enjoy the kind of content that I put out as far as building things, it's absolutely great. Today, we're going to actually get some parts refurbished from a guy that I had met. He's one of my subscribers. His name is Robert. I'm not going to go ahead and throw his last name out there and everything, but I am going to be putting some links to his TikTok and things I hear down in the description section, and it may be across the bottom of the screen if I can. Show some footage of his blaster build, but we're going to be doing some parts for him. And why I think this is significant is because he served some time in the U.S. military. He got injured. He's still building blasters, and he is still racing, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. So we're going to go over his parts, tell you a little bit about his story first, and then get this rolling. All right, so I got a little bit of something on my shirt, but who cares? I'm out here in the shop. So I kind of got an initial contact with Robert. It was kind of simple. I did that blaster build a while back for one of my boys' daughters. So we did the watermelon, is what I like to call the colors. That's not what he wants to call it, but we got the watermelon blaster done, and my man rides a blaster. So he sent me out some more pictures and some more footage. And then I started looking at his stuff. Over time, you know, we just kind of get everyone else. You message back and forth. You get some ideas. You get some pointers. I kept him updated on the blaster. He kept me updated on what he was doing with his. Christmas, we went out to Gatlinburg, my family and I, and then, you know, lo and behold, he's just like, hey, do you ever come out to the Gatlinburg area? And I was like, dude, I'm coming out there in like 2 weeks. We actually love it out there. And he's like, well, I'm only like 15 minutes out if you all want to meet for dinner. Met him and his family. Nice, beautiful family, really down-to-earth people, really had a good time. My wife and my children enjoyed it as well. But I learned about my man's injury. I didn't know he had kind of like an injury. And, you know, thank you for your service. I appreciate everything you do. It's because the military people who allow the freedoms for people to do the things that they want, I'm allowed to do as I please in the United States because of freedoms. And I didn't serve in the military. My brother did. My father did. Robert did. Other people I know did. And I thank you all for your service in doing that. So what I decided to do was we had discussed some blaster parts that we have here. I'm going to hook my man up and just get those coded and sending them back out to him. Not as far as any kind of charity thing, but as far as respect. I respect what he's done, and I feel like this is what I can do to try to get back to a veteran. So Robert, one of the things that we kind of discussed was he had a military injury. So he was originally from like Louisiana, and he was like down in that area. And then Hurricane Katrina brought him up to the Gatlinburg area where he had met his wife. And then he was in the military. He's a younger guy. I am a certain age. His age is 5 years younger than me. So he had got injured about 14 years ago. So he was I like to say, I just simple terms, jumper. He would jump out of helicopters. He would jump out of airplanes. He was, you know, what some people say is a soldier. He was a through and through, you know, on the ground combat kind of guy. All right. He was in the 101st Airborne Division, and he was 11 Bravo infantryman. So like I said, he was there getting his hands dirty. So he got hurt while in Afghanistan. An explosion to the vehicle that they were in caused some upturning and a spinal cord injury, which left my man paralyzed. So it was really a rough time for him. You know, he said he played football and he was a physical guy. And he also enjoyed riding two-strokes and dirt bikes and things like that. So yeah, so like my man, he enjoyed building the two-strokes and riding the two-stroke dirt bikes, having a great time. So post-injury, he had to have like 2 surgeries until he was even able to like move at all. So he has some paralysis. Yeah, so the injury like that is devastating to anybody. So it was a struggle for him. He did state that he had to have a few surgeries before he was even able to move. And just to keep himself going, he decided that he was going to rebuild a blaster. So he built this blaster. And at that point in time, he started racing. And this is where it gets crazy. Before my man he was wheelchair bound at the time. Before he could actually get on to his machine, his wife would help transfer him from wheelchair to his machine. And he'd ride and he'd race. He said it was, you know, great. It was a great time. He said it was all good until he went down. He had to struggle getting back up at times and get back onto the machine. But overall, that's impressive. Like, how many people do you know do stuff like that? You understand people's urges and wills to keep on doing stuff. But he said that as time went on, he just said he had enough of that. He found it within himself to try to build his own strength back up. And now he's able to do that on his own and transfer over back and forth. And we are going to just look at some of his TikTok footage, as I stated. And I think this dude's bike is amazing and his whole story is amazing. So what we're gonna do is get some parts that he gave us here, get them blasted, get them powder coated, get some vapor blasting done and everything. But he sent me a couple patches that I'm gonna put on my oven. And this is the U.S. Army patch that, I thank him for that. And this is the Airborne, so it's the 101st. And this is the Flying Eagle patch. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. This is the Screaming Eagle patch. And this is the, like I said, the Airborne. And then we got the U.S. Army. That's going to go all in the oven. And then we have a Yamaha. And I'm not 100% sure what this one is. And he also sent me that one. I'm going to reach out to him before this footage gets uploaded and ask him what that is. So we're all on the same page. Probably refer to it at the end of the video. But I really appreciate him, and I think his story is amazing, and more people need to hear about things like this. So I think his will to do something is absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is do something for him. So let's go ahead and get these parts taken out of the box, take a look at them, explain what we're going to be doing with them, and then start getting our work done. You know what, actually, first, before we get into any kind of footage and taking things out of the boxes, let's take a look at some of his clips, some of his TikTok stuff, see how it's going to transfer over. Hopefully YouTube doesn't make such a big deal about it, but we're going to take a look at a couple of these things, then come back here and get these things unboxed.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's going to be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
People tell me all the time you're gonna die on that bike. And my response is, to you, riding this bike may seem so dangerous or I may die, but this bike keeps me alive, which is something that you'll never understand. So I'd ask you, what keeps you alive? but chances are it's not a bike.
All right, everyone, so we got that all done. Unboxing time. We're going to sit our stuff over here. So the first thing we have are all the patches that I stated that we've already had. And while out there in Gatlinburg, we did do some shopping, and he wanted some spindles that fit a Banshee, so we found some here. These ones I got from Spencer Clipperton. He is my Banshee guy, so we went that route. These are going to get vapor blasted. So they're going to get vapor blasted because there's a little bit of surface rust that I just want to clean off. And the vapor blasting is real sensitive, and it's real, it's nice, you know. And then we're going to get these blasted and powder coated black. Try to do a gloss black or something for them. Box number 1. We have packing, which means we have a silencer down here. The silencer, we're going to remove our labels. We're going to chop it down as short as we can. And then we're going to powder coat the can. I'm thinking we decided we were going to go with the blue after we had talked about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to cut this down and go blue. We have our kicker, which is going to go back, just a satin black. I really don't gloss the kickers up because they're going to get the most damage. We have the axle nuts. I am thinking we might just get those powder coated or Cerakoted, probably black. We have some stickers to go on the exhaust can. I'm actually going to send those back with him so he can put them on and let him decide whether or not that's something that he wants after he sees how these cans look. We have a head that he has had milled down to bump up the compression. This says 240, but I'm not 100% sure what that's for. We're going to get this all cleaned up, all powder coated, and looking pretty new. It's got some letters and some writing on there for somebody who's done the head work. But yeah, this is going to get new looking. We have our clutch side cover. We're going to get all this cleaned up. We're going to get this whole thing blasted. We're going to have this blue. We're going to redo this back chrome. And then we're going to clear coat it all, have it looking real good. Just tap all the threads. We have our, I told him to leave them as filthy as possible because it makes the transformation better. But we have our clutch side cover here that we're going to get. This is this is our case side. This is actually the stator side. We're going to get all this blasted and see how it's going to look. Get it all cleaned up and everything. And we have the matching case side on the other side. So all this is going to get taken apart, taken down, cleaned up. First thing we're going to do is get it all in the parts washer as much as we can, get this cleaned up, get as much stuff off as we can, take all the bearings, bushings, seals, and things out, and start getting these halves done. That's to be the first thing. You know what? That's not going to be the first thing. We're going to be doing first the easiest things. We'll go ahead and get these hubs done, these spindles, the head, and the kicker. Get all these things done and powder coated because the black is going to be the easiest color to get done. So we're going to get those done first. All right, the first thing we're going to do while we're waiting is we're going to go ahead, it's hot now, 150 degrees, and we're going to go ahead and get these case halves down in here into the degreaser. Get these parts washed so that they can soak. Might as well go ahead and put this inside as well because we got a little oil in the back. So all those parts soaking, we're going to work on the parts that are not. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and throw these right here into the vapor blaster. I'm going to go ahead and get those in there. You cannot really see good with all the water and stuff that's going to be in there, but I'll try. Get a little bit of my mess off the top of it. We're going to just, basically, we're just going to focus on those shafts so you can see. It might just be a quick before and after, and I'm going to just let you see those. Once you get the shafts looking good, they come out, they'll get into the oven just to dry long enough. I'll tape them off, put them in the blaster, and blast them. And once they're blasted like that in the blaster, then we'll be ready to hang up to get those little parts powdered. So we got those parts blasted. nice and clean. So from before, it's kind of how that one looks that was super rusted. And I just dunk them in some water over here to rinse all that media off. And these did have, look, got on my, and these did have some hardware that came with them as well. So, like I said, I went ahead and did the nuts. So the nuts are nice and clean looking. I might have to go over them with a second coat, but dunking in the water time, in the oven time. So, got my little bucket here, rinses off a good bit of our stuff. Now we're going to the oven. So, all right, we're gonna go in here literally just to dry. It's not to do anything else, but just to dry. We're only at about a little bit less than 100 degrees in here, so it's gonna take a little bit, not long. But I have my temperature set here, and I just turned it on, so we'll be good in about 5 minutes.
Strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, oh. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy.
All right, so we pulled these out of the oven, and as I stated, they look a lot better. Got a little bit of surface rust pretty much off. I could get a little bit more on that one, but we'll work on that later. I'm gonna go ahead, and I like to use the Gorilla Tape. It gives me the best, connection. It holds like none other. Then I'll come, it's kind of eyeball where I like for it to be a nice clean line. Then I go around to where we connect. Now, I still might get media in there, but the thing is with this setup here, it's not going to be blasted on. So the media that might get in there, it isn't going to pit the area or anything like that. So we're going to do the same thing to the other side. All right, so both of these are done. They're going to go ahead into the blast cabinet right here. My wet cabinet's there. My dry cabinet's back there. We're going to go ahead and get these in there. Get these blasted, get them untaped, get them hung up, get them retaped. And then it's going to be just waiting on some powder. But I also need to do the same thing to the other part. So we're going to make sure I get the kicker ready and make sure I get the head ready as well. All right, so we got the blasting and everything done. So I just want to show the parts. So right here we have the blasted knuckle, right? So as you see that defined line from where I taped it at. So the tape did its purpose. Some of the media still got in there, as you see down here. But the tape has that defined line. So when I powder this, I'm actually going to put heat tape on that same line, tape it all up, and then it's going to be powdered right there to a nice adhesive spot. Kicker and everything looks absolutely wonderful. We have it ready. But here's a little knuckle. I got a little bit of residue that I got to try to clean off there. See, the residue comes off relatively simple. If not, I have this stuff called Goof Off. So I did not say Goo Gone wrong. It's called Goof Off. And then the head, got that Gorilla Tape in there, nice and clean and pressed in. It's going to do the same thing. Just don't directly blast that area. And I'm also going to put a spark plug in here because it's kind of domed. And it's one of the spark plugs that I keep just for this purpose of blasting. So we're going to go ahead and get this blasted as well. Get these all parts hung up. Start getting some black on them. So hopefully that fan isn't too loud, but We're over here at the parts. They've been in the oven for a gas out. I have the head down there. Have everything else. And some people do debate whether or not you powder coat a head on a blaster. I mean, they already come with some kind of coating on there, which isn't paint. But we're going to just see. I don't think it's really going to provide that much more insulation. We did talk about it, the other guy and I. There is a Cerakote. But, you know, we figure we give it a shot. If it works well, it works well. If it doesn't work well, you all know about it. But here's that clear tape with that line that I was telling everyone about right there, perfect line. And there's the kicker area and the kicker stuff and the head. It is just dangling there, but we do have that center portion taped off, as you see. Oh, sorry. So that center portion is taped off. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this thing with some color and put it in the oven, and you'll see it when it comes back out. All right, so those parts are out of the oven, and I think they look great. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera on, cut the flash on so you all can see them, but man, does it look, I always love it how parts come out looking better than new. So I'm sitting here looking at them, I'm sorry, so you'll see. So man, don't that look good? And then here are the other parts, the knuckles, the spindles, and the kicker, all that. I haven't touched them yet because they're still like freaking 400 degrees, but all that looks great. All right, so there you saw the parts out of the oven. They looked great. I have a different color shirt on, which means this is a different day. I had to knock it down the other day just because I was going to be going to work and I didn't want to be completely exhausted. So that's that. But that day after I took that footage, I decided I was going to take some pictures and send them out to Robert to see how he liked them, right? So he sent them out, kindly reminded me that that wasn't the color we decided on. I don't know why I kind of forgot, but it was super simple. As you see right here, that's the Quick Cut 3. It's the powder stripper, and I just dropped the parts in there, went to work, came back, everything came off, hit them with a pressure wash in the oven, reblasted them back into the oven after I cleaned them out, and I hit them with that Illusion Blueberry. So that looks absolutely wonderful. I'm not going to show you it right now because I want to show you all these parts once we get them all done at once. But I did show you the head. So the head is the head. It's going to be gloss black, but the spindles and the kicker are now Illusion Berry or Illusion Blueberry. And I don't want to say Illusion Berry because Illusion Berry is purple. But what we're going to do is go ahead and now get the cases cleaned up. We got the heater, the part washer back on. We're going to get those clean, get them in the vapor blaster, check out everything there, and then start getting these hopefully coated here shortly. So while we're waiting and going ahead and getting the parts washer warmed back up, we're at like 90 degrees. I need it to be close to 150 to clean good. I went ahead and I took that exhaust clamp on because I'm going to clean that up and get it powdered too. I went ahead and just went around the outsides, as you see, with the grinder just to smooth some of these imperfections out so it flows a lot better. And I went ahead and I have our bolts here loosened. And we're going to go ahead and take those off. And then what that's going to do is just allow us to see what's inside of this exhaust. I'm sorry, my head's kind of cut off. One more. And then we're going to cut that can down and start cutting things down just to make sure we can get it to fit back in there, repack it after we powder it. All right, we got our 3 pieces of hardware and our end off. This one has screws in it as well. We have those off to the side. And maybe let's see if this comes off easily. Probably not. They never want to come apart easily. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a little bit of work to pry it. So this is what we're left with. The can is off. And man, the packing doesn't look too bad, but of course, since we have new, we're going to replace it. So we have our pipe there. Looks like it's all welded on and everything. So we're going to get it cut down a couple inches, cut this off. But yeah, we're going to have this thing nice and tidied up and ready for the silencer. But what we're going to do is go ahead and get that silencer marked down and cut. So yeah, that didn't look so bad and everything. But what we're going to go ahead and do is get that silencer cut down and everything. And then after we get that cut down to where we want it, we're going to put the end back on. So there are some steps to this. We're going to put the end back on and then redo that little section of pipe. Then we're going to tack weld it and make sure everything looks good, get the can powder, and get the final reassemble done. But we're going to try to do that and kind of voice over, not really talk too much about it because that process can end up being like a whole video. So let's go ahead and just get to it.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a
That's
better
out
me.
there.
Better believe in your mind, 'cause it's everything.
Tip's going to go to the side and just get cleaned up really good. We're going to start to cut our can off. All right, so here we have our silencer now, and we're going to cut off all this down here on this end. So it's going to be about 2 inches shorter. So I just used my caliper. This is an old junk one, and I just measured the 2-inch mark from here on top, the 2-inch mark on the bottom, and then I'm going to take my cutoff wheel, go around all that and cut off all the extra. Then use a grinding wheel to just make sure it's smooth, like a sanding disc. And once I get it pretty smooth and everything, we should be pretty much close to what we need to be doing. Then, since I know I'm going to be taking 2 inches off here, I know I'm going to also be taking 2 inches off of that pipe that goes into the middle. So just a couple quick measurements to keep ahead while you do this.
Almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel
All right, so here we have that section cut off, and we're pretty flat going across. I mean, what you're seeing here is a lot of the up lip and all that stuff, but overall, when you take something flat like a file across there, I mean, it comes across pretty even without any kind of huge gap. So we're good there. I also kind of filed that area down here so it wasn't sharp, so it'd be more like that part. And what I'm going to do here now is mark where my holes are going to be for my tip. Then I'm going to be able to strip rest of my stickers and stuff off and get that other mid pipe cut down. All right, so we took a little bit of time. Here's our shortened can with about 2 inches off. Like I said, this is about close as we can get it to that drop there and keep it nice and straight. I am going to just clean up the tip a little bit. As you see, we have the downspout back in there, and we have all the holes lined up. Let me see if I can get it off real quick. All right, you enjoy seeing me struggle there, but here is our welded ends right here, looking absolutely fine, no problems. So we took about 2 inches out of that as well. So we're good. That's the last time you all are going to see this can. There's no need to see me blast it and powder coat it. You're going to see all these finished parts here at the end, but we have the work to the can itself done. So we're moving in the right direction. So here we are. We have some fresh looking parts behind us. So I just want to do a quick comparison, just like a before and after. I think it's pretty impressive how these cases already look, and they haven't even gotten any powder or anything on them, right? So it's going to be a crazy transformation. So these were crazy, rough, and dirty. I soaked them in the parts washer, and for the most part, the parts washer got that inside really, really clean. But I still did wet blast the inside of them, and then I dry blasted the outside, and that takes us from what we have here. I'm going to flip the camera around. We can get it closer, but it's crazy the change already. So these are the same, from the same machine, a mated pair, and this is what we looked like after some cleaning. So before some cleaning, it was like crazy looking, and I did tell Robert to leave them as they were so we can have a better transformation video, but look at that already. Now, if I was to go ahead and vapor blast these, it would all look shiny like here, but we're going to keep the dull flat look. And then I'm going to powder coat all this. And like I said, I cleaned up the threads and all that. So we're going to go ahead and put this into the dry blast cabinet, clean it up. I don't have a blind bearing puller, but what I do is make sure I plug that up and I don't blast directly in there. And with that being said, I run air through them and clean that out so they spin freely and all that. So we're going to be good on that end. But all the other bearings and bushings are pretty much removed. So let's go ahead and get this side blasted and get this side looking as equally as beautiful as this. Get them both in the oven for a gas out, and then we're going to be shooting some color on them. Hey everyone, so right now it's education time. What I am trying to do really quickly is just make sure I explain that last patch that was sent to me by Robert. That last patch is the patch that has the symbol for the 3rd Brigade of the 101st Airborne Division. They're known as the Rakkasans. So basically they kind of got the name from, back in World War II, when people jumped out of the airplanes and the helicopters, they landed down by parachute. So whenever the Japanese would look up and see the people with the parachutes, they would call them the Umbrella Men, right? So they were the Umbrella Men, and that's where they got the name the Rakkasans. So the Japanese called them that, and then the military was like, yeah, we like that, so we'll keep that name. So that's what that patch is. I wanted to explain that really quickly and make sure that I am correct. We're going to jump back into the footage and then go over what we got done. As always, as I've stated, thank you for your service. I'm learning a lot through this because, like I said, I do the powder coating and everything. But when I get on here, I kind of don't want to give you all a whole bunch of just crazy information that's wrong, because I know people will roast me down in the comment section. But we've gotten other work done. We've gotten a lot of things done. We did get the cases and everything, powder coated. Everything looks great. So we used the blue that I showed you. Everything else went on there fine. After I got them all blasted and cleaned up, I taped off my covers. And with the covers and everything being taped off and looking good, I shot it with my blue, put the color on there, 2 coats of clear. It looks absolutely wonderful. I'll keep peeking over on it. We got the exhaust and everything back together. We're going to go over and take a look at it, but just here's how it looked. Right? Looks crazy good. So the cases, the biggest thing with the cases was just making sure afterwards over with, I did clean out the threads, make sure I got everything out. The clutch side cover, this is the super chrome on there. It is reflective, but it's not like you would think like chrome. It's not like that, but it's super reflective. You basically, first I shot it with the chrome, full cure. So the full cure, put it in there at temperature at 375. So once I got it to 375, I let it gel out. Well, I let it fully cure for 15 minutes and took it out, let it cool down. Then I shot all my blue on everything. Then I went around and got all the extra powder off of it, did the best I could with that, cleaned it up real good. But look at all the parts right here. So we have our exhaust can, which has been shortened. This is 2 inches shorter than what it was. We got the tip cleaned up, and I siliconed around the edge like you should. So that's black silicone going around there and looking all good in there. This thing looks absolutely wonderful. Down here through it, I did do the end cap and put some stainless bolts in there that look real good for them. We got our kicker done right here, and it's the same Illusion Blueberry. And man, that looks crazy good as well. Got our spindles after we had gotten those powder coated and got those looking good. We vapor blast the tubes. Now this is raw metal, so I didn't coat those with anything. Those are going to be in the spindles, but as long as he puts, those are going to be in the bearing area where the hubs go on. But as long as he puts some anti-seize on there and all that, it will be fine removing and coming on. But that looks great. This is the head that we decided to go with black. Originally it was going to be blue like everything else, but black made it look really freaking new. And we have our bottom side. This is imperfections that were in the cast, nothing bubbling, but there's nothing you can really do with that. It's just gonna be some imperfections in there unless you start doing a whole bunch of grinding and stuff. Our cases, man, they have the biggest transformation. So I vapor blasted the inside of everything and make sure it looks good and clean. Bearings still move, bearings are removed. These caps are just in there with some silicone. This is a little tighter than I'd like it, but it goes in there good with a wrench. You just get your crescent wrench and you can take it off. But it doesn't really, some of the little powder got in there and I don't have a thread tap for that. But like I said, it goes in and it comes out with no issues. And this is the cover. And look at that, looks great. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. So I just spin this thing around. Stator side right here, it's gonna go in there, left the bearings and everything open. Didn't get anything in there on the lips. Right now, that's how the case is gonna look. We got them in multiple boxes, but I'm gonna wrap all this up really good in bubble wrap, put it in a nice size box to make sure it's nice and protected. And we're gonna get this stuff in the mail. But crazy good how all that looks, right? But that's it right there. We're going to be finishing up this video. And then we're going to be working on the 95 Banshee, getting it tidied up. But, you know, I just wanted to throw out there, I really enjoyed doing this. I learned a lot, got a lot of information, reached out. And I felt that it was great to get, you know, Robert's, get a story out there. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? So his will and his determination kept him from staying down and, you know, in his bad situation he was in. He's made the best out of it, enjoy life. Best I can do right there is help him out with this. So this will be coming to you in the mail, buddy, as you'll probably be seeing this video here after after you've received the parts, because for the most part, you know, I've kind of just stalled to let you know, let you think that I hadn't gotten it done, and it's done. And I will upload this the day that the delivery tracking shows that it's delivered at your house. All right, everyone, if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. If you want to see other blaster stuff like this, I do have the watermelon blaster that I referred to in the beginning right here. And we also have our 03 Retro Mod Banshee right over here.